Welcome to the latest Motley Fool scoreboard. I'm on Chocolate Balloon. We've got longtime fools, Travis Hoium and Tyler Crowe, giving a 1 to 10 rating to top 100 Moneyball database stock. And I believe the only solar stock currently in my own portfolio. It's First Solar, ticker symbol FSLR. My portfolio isn't going to be feeling too good after this, I don't think. We're going to talk about the business first, including factors like industry and competition. A 10 is invincible. A 1 is hopeless. Tyler's at a 7. Travis, you're at a 4.
Yeah, I've got to go really low here. I've been following the solar industry for 15 years on the Motley Fool. A lot of changes have happened for First Solar. They're basically just now a solar panel manufacturer right now, thin film solar. Most of their sales are in the U.S., and they're driven by subsidies. That's something that's going to be a theme here. And the big concern for First Solar is their backlog is dropping like a rock. 2 years ago, that backlog was 78 gigawatts. Now it's just 64 gigawatts. That's as subsidies have really driven the business over the past couple of years. That's why their profitability has improved. I'll get to that in just a moment. But without those subsidies, and those may just go away sometime in the next couple of years, and some of them already have, I think the business is in real trouble.
So I had a 7, and yeah, look, the industry kind of stinks. It's cyclical, it's commoditized, it's subject to the whims of who has political power. I mean, the growth is still there. 81% of utility scale power added to the grid last year was solar, and it's, AI demand is there. It's going to come from somewhere, and solar is fast to deploy. I think the business score for me is more of an endorsement of management than the industry itself. And the most comfort you can kind of get through this short terms, I would say kind of uncertainty is there is a multi-year backlog of orders based on its current production rate.
Well, I'm glad most of your business score was due to management, Tyler. We don't have a category for that or anything. Speaking of which,
Look,
management,
man.
a 10 is Warren Buffett, 1 is Homer Simpson. Tyler's got a 9. Travis, you're at a 5.
Yeah, Mark Widmer has been CEO for about a decade now. The business has shrunk under his watch. It was actually bigger. There's a lot of reasons for that just from a revenue perspective. They're not building and selling big solar projects now. That used to be a huge driver of their revenue, but very, very volatile profitability. So it was probably the right strategic move to move into just focusing on solar panels. But I just look back, and given all the growth in the industry over the past decade or two, First Solar is just not sustainably profitable without the subsidies that it has really taken the vast majority of in the U.S. This is industry conditions, but management has not helped themselves and put themselves in a leadership position and been able to kind of uncommoditize the market. And so I got to put that at management's feet.
I went with a 9, and I think I actually agree with the idea of being deliberately so slow to expand in this business, because I think a lot of other companies grow really fast and shoot themselves in the foot, get over leveraged, and then they're not left standing. And this is kind of like the cockroach company that just kind of keeps going along despite everyone else blowing up around them. And I think it's why they're only ones left right now, at least in the US, and some of the Chinese ones have gone under as well. I also kind of respect them for admitting they were wrong with the project development stuff. Like, it was not a great business for them to be in. So, making hard decisions in a tough industry, I do have to give them credit for that.
For financials, a 10 is a fortress, a 1 is yikes. Tyler's at an 8. Travis, you're at a 3. I might be audibling and just replacing you with Jason Hall. He'll give some more middling scores at least.
So here's what's going on with their financials. When the IRA passed, they got a flood of demand because they got subsidies that basically nobody else qualified for in the US. So they had demand for revenue. They also got these subsidies that it led to improving margins. That's why you see improved profitability over the past couple of years. But the reason that the backlog that I mentioned earlier dropping is important is the out years, 2029, 2020, 2030, 2031. They are not signing new contracts in that period of time, and they're not doing so at the same profitability levels that we've seen over the past couple of years. So here's the number that makes their financials look really dire. They're expecting $1.6 billion in what they call 40X tax credits this year. That is approximately 100% of their expected net income. So if their backlog is declining and the sales price of that backlog is going to be declining in the future, that means their financials are going to get worse without those subsidies. And remember, those might go away in the future. This business is in tough shape financially.
Lots of disagreement on this one. And look, I think the past 3 years have also been like it's been a period of significant capital expending to bring new production facilities online. I think even with the elevated spending, it's still kept a cash position, which I find quite impressive. Growth and margins are incredibly lumpy. To the idea of the out years, the one, and you could be right, but I think the one solace I would give is that they're drawing down backlog on their existing tech, and they are working on some new next gen tech solar panels that they will likely want to market in those out years. If those actually work out, then maybe the backlog decline is just kind of working off its legacy tech.
Tyler, let's talk valuation. How well will First Solar stock do over the next 5 years, and how safe is it? 10's a sure thing, 1's a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I said 10 to 15 with a low safety score of 4. Safety score would be higher if renewable energy wasn't such a political hot potato right now, as Travis has alluded to with subsidies. And if First Solar had more international sales, it's definitely something they have not done particularly well with. I think the backlog is enough for a few years to get them through to maybe their next generation of panels, which I think will actually be another phase of growth for them. Stock valuation right now looks pretty good, but I think it is really at the whims of panel pricing. Maybe with an absence of subsidies, panel pricing might actually more reflect the actual price that it would cost to put those in.
Yeah, I think the valuation is something that looks really cheap today. I think on a forward basis, the price to earnings multiple is 10 or 11. But if that profitability does decline in the way that I'm saying, with the subsidies potentially going away, and remember, subsidies are not just impacting First Solar. There's a ton of companies that are building new capacity in the U.S. because of those subsidies that will eventually eat away at their margins. I just think the stock is still really expensive at 5 times sales. So despite all of this, I have pretty low expectations of actually negative returns and a low safety score of 3.
Thank you to both Tyler and to Travis. They've given First Solar a low overall score of 5.2 out of 10, with rough scores for everything but management. Tyler's much higher than Travis's, but even he had a safety score of 4. Look out for a new scoreboard every market day at 7 p.m. Eastern. Next up is Comfort Systems. Till then, Fool on.